easy when you come to New Zealand to just think, oh, I'll just hire a car and I'll just drive around and be all free and easy. But did you know that there are many, many fines that you can incur while driving in New Zealand?
Things can go really wrong when you're doing drifting on a public highway, you know?
Again, $150 fine on that one.
It's not enough.
I just got to say
but,
sorry.
But
Yep.
potential imprisonment.
Oh, really?
Yep.
In this week's episode, we're going to share with you the most common fines you will receive when driving in New Zealand so that you don't go home owing millions. It's a Drama, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him!
Mother thanks you.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And we are back this week to tell you all about driving fines in New Zealand and how you can avoid them.
I've got some notes.
According to an article in the NZ Herald, thank you guys over there, you've done your work properly. Over the last decade, tourists who have visited New Zealand and Kiwis who live in New Zealand have evaded paying. I had to look at what evaded means. It means they've avoided paying, posh word for avoided, fines totalling 156 million New Zealand dollars.
Which, that's a shed load of money.
In driving fines.
I could buy me a new boat.
So good on you for avoiding paying it. But here's how to avoid getting those fines in the first place. Okay, let's jump on in.
Well, number one, we've got running a red light. Well, that's kind of obvious, isn't it?
It is.
You know, you're a bit of a dick if you run a red light, really, aren't you?
You are.
You know, and the lights work slightly different than they do in the UK, more towards the American. You know, here we have, if it goes to amber, it means it's going to go to red, and then it just goes straight to green.
Yeah.
So in the UK, they do red, and amber, and then green. So you kind of know when you're about to start off, like, you know. So this is about not so much jumping a red light, but it's just driving through a red light. Or if it's going orange and then it's red as you go through it, you have actually gone through a red light.
How much is the fine, Brian?
150 New Zealand dollars.
Don't do it.
Not a lot, really.
Well, I think it is.
I don't think it is.
You know what my granddad always used to say? Don't be an amber gambler. Just remember that.
There you go.
You stop when that light comes on and you don't go through.
And the big thing that people don't understand, what does green actually mean, Liz?
Go.
Does it?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Number two.
It means proceed with caution and give way if you have to, because there might be a guy running a red light.
Right, okay.
So you must give way to him. It's not just go.
Right. The next one, to avoid paying a 200 New Zealand dollar fine. And by the way, these figures are all from the New Zealand Transport Agency.
Yes.
So we know what we're talking about here.
Really?
Not displaying a licence plate. Results, if you haven't got a visible licence plate, you will get fined 200 New Zealand dollars.
Yeah, so the licence plate is obviously the number on the car, the licence plate, the registration plate, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know, one on the front, one on the back.
Yeah.
Must have a light on the one on the back as well.
Yeah. Okay, next one.
Next one. Failing to yield to pedestrians. So one time I didn't really understand what yield meant. You know, I remember driving to America and seeing yield. It's like, what does yield mean? It give way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it means that at a pedestrian crossing, okay? So if there is someone standing waiting on the pedestrian crossing, obviously not without traffic lights, so we're talking like a zebra crossing here, which is white and black, painted on the road with normally big yellow signs or flashing yellow beacons, Belisha beacons they used to be called. And if you don't stop for that person, then you can get a fine. And it's
$150.
Is it $150?
I don't think it's enough.
No, I don't think that's enough. No, because, you know, you come up to school areas and stuff and people are trying to get to work and there's kids waiting. And all right, some of them have barriers that they bring out into the road. That's a completely different thing.
That's really nice.
But, you know, people are in a rush. Everyone's in a rush and you don't. One thing that does get me is when somebody's walking along the footpath and you don't know and they just step out onto that's a bit different.
Here's the thing I was going to say is we've talked about this before. We moved over to the UK from the UK in 2009 and coming over here, like in the UK on a zebra crossing, if you're flipping miles away and you see someone at the zebra crossing, you get prepared to stop.
Yeah, you do.
But in New Zealand, it was a big shock to us that sometimes they just don't stop. Even when you're standing at the side of the road on the zebra crossing, they don't stop. And that was just like a really big, you know, eye-opener to us. So be really, really careful and aware of that. But drivers, yes, stop the car when someone is on that zebra crossing. And like I say, $150 you're going to be getting for that one.
Yeah, I think it would change if it was a bit more like California, where, you know, with those rules, like if you hit a pedestrian, you could be done for manslaughter or imprisonment.
Do you remember when we went on holiday with your brother?
Yeah, my brother was like, move away from the pedestrians. I'm like, why? They're walking on the road.
Why?
Get off the road.
Why should I move away from them?
It was just a road that we were driving along, and they're all walking down the side of the road.
Please don't do as Brian does.
Yes. There you go, you see.
Right, the next one I want to talk about is making illegal turns. Again, from the New Zealand Transport Agency, you will be fined $150 for this. I'm surprised you haven't been done time and time again, Brian.
Why?
Because
what does it actually mean, an illegal turn, Les?
Making illegal turns, doing a U-turn.
So what?
Doing a U-turn.
No, it's not a U-turn.
What does it mean then?
No, that's unless it says no U-turn.
Right.
An illegal turn means you can't turn right. So you see the sign with the bent and the cross through it and a round circle.
Right.
There's lots of them in New Plymouth city centre, because you're going along and it's like, I want to turn right. And it's like, why have you got no right turn? And
why did they do that, do you reckon?
It's so you don't use the town as a cut through.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
I think that's what it is, but I don't really, or it keeps traffic flowing that bit better through the town. So you can't turn right.
You know, when we come out of the charity shop, and you can't turn right in New Plymouth, sorry, isn't it? I'm always really tempted to just say, oh, should I just do it? Because
who's going to see me?
I know,
the camera.
$150, not worth it, is it? You've saved all that money in the charity shop. Don't go and blow it on a $150 fine.
See, I remember once, I know we're going back a little bit here, back to the red light, and it's a bit of a confession, Liz.
Go on, Brian.
I had a lot of wood on the roof on the van that I was driving when I was a full-time tradie, with pipes and things on the top, and I was coming up down a big hill to a traffic light, and it had just gone orange, and I was just thinking, I should be able to make it here, because if I hit the brakes hard now,
Amber Gambler.
I really think, not that it was unsecure load, but it might just want to shift that little bit on the roof racks. Not that it would, but as I was crossing it, it went red. But, you know, and someone phoned me up from the police.
And said what?
You went, you know, you've got to stop at red lights. And I said, I did. And explained the reason. She said, yeah, you're lucky, but, you know, we're not going to do you now, but we're actually warning you.
We're adding your fine to the $156
I was not one of the evading
the other
people.
Kiwis haven't paid.
Yeah, there you go.
God. Right, my one is... Oh, no, it's your one next.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do this one next, because that goes in hand with what I just did. Is reckless and careless driving. Yeah. And New Zealand does have a lot of reckless and careless drivers.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, me. You'll notice it when you're, I don't know, you're driving around New Zealand, you'll just see lots of donut rubber tire marks all over the roads. And it's like as if it's a rite of passage for some young jokers, as they say. And it's even older guys as well with their big V8s, and, you know, they weld up the diffs on them, so they have a drifting car. And it just destroys the road, to be honest. It really, really does. And it looks pretty shit, I think. And, you know, things can go really wrong when you're doing drifting on a public highway, you know?
Again, $150 fine on that one.
It's not enough.
I just got to say... oh, sorry.
But...
Yep.
Potential imprisonment.
Oh, really?
Yep, $150 fine and potential imprisonment.
Yeah, but that's reckless driving, like dangerous driving.
But that's running red lights, or you're not stopping for pedestrians. That's what I'm saying. Do you know what? There's always a rule or a road infringement that they can pin on you, even though you haven't done that one thing, but they can get you for that or get you for that. I mean, it's like, I think if you looked at all the stuff, you would never bother driving, because you can't actually start. You know,
do you know what, Brian? Don't, because it's better for the environment.
There you go.
Just walk.
Leave it up to the bus drivers.
Yanks' pony. Shanks' pony. Get on your
I
leg.
like Yanks' pony.
Get on your legs. And before we move on, I do want to say, because it's just niggling me just a tiny little bit. You know, when you were a young lad and you used to drive your Golf GTI, did you ever do any like donuts or anything? So then don't turn into one of those old men.
You can't
start saying, "Oh, I don't like it. It's bad for the road."
No. You can't really do a donut in a front wheel drive car. It's got to be rear wheel. So I didn't do things like that, and plus as well, I couldn't afford tyres.
Brian, when you were 26, You're right, a speed freak. So anyway, moving on, don't do that. So because you're going to get a $150 fine.
You are here because you love New Zealand.
You might be moving to New Zealand,
Living in New Zealand, or you might just spend your days dreaming of visiting this gorgeous country. Because we love New Zealand as much as you do, we have compiled a short and very unique 5-day video series showcasing life in New Zealand, what it's really like. These videos are real, they are exclusive, and best of all, they're absolutely free. So if you would like to view New Zealand from the inside out and find out what life is really like down here, sign up now, and every day for 5 days we will send you a personal 3-minute video showcasing some brilliant aspect of life in New Zealand. You are gonna love it. Go to www.itsadrama.com/ILoveNZ. We can't wait to share those videos with you. Okay, let's get back on with the show.
Do that. So because you're going to get a $150 fine.
Yeah.
Right, okay. My one is you will get a $250 fine, and this is from local council regulations. I've got this information from.
Right.
So all districts are different, but it can be up to $250 fine if you are found driving on beach areas in unauthorised, like if it says no vehicles on the beach, $250 fine. So
Yeah, or it might be a certain time of year.
yes,
That you're not allowed with the vehicle on the beach, because a lot of people just can take the vehicles on the beaches in New Zealand.
yeah. Like 90 Mile Beach. Remember when we drove our car
Yeah,
at 90 Mile Beach?
yeah,
Such
90
fun.
yeah,
When we
90
first
Mile
came
Beach.
to New Zealand, it was just, it was brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. But just out around the coast here in Taranaki, you can go out a lot of places with your vehicles.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's getting quite popular with those guys that have those, look like the car that would go around the world for some unknown reason, like, you know, an old diesel, Nissan diesel Patrol or something like that, and they go and put a Cummins engine in it or something with a big turbo and big noisy exhaust and drive around the beach as if, like, you know, the apocalypse has happened in a vehicle with white bars all over it. And, you know, it's just like, what are you doing, guys? It's just New Zealand. It's not the outback of the world, like, you know.
Bri, I've got to say, this episode isn't going how I wanted it to go, because what I wanted it to be was like telling people about
but
fines.
people got to be realised.
It's just coming across that you're just bitter,
Yeah.
you're resentful. You wish you were one of those guys
But they
in the
have
big
these
V8.
humongous bull bars on the front of their vehicle.
You'd love to be them.
But we don't have kangaroos here.
Brian, you would
know?
love to be that guy.
No, I wouldn't.
You? Yes, you
because
bloody
you
would.
just look like a knob.
We're going to have to cut all this out. You realise that, don't you? This is just coming across as you being super resentful.
It's like guys in Ford Wranglers. I mean, what is it with the Ford Wrangler that they have to think that it's if, like, I don't know, you're going on an Arctic expedition. It's like you're driving along a road in New Zealand.
Okay, Bri. Okay.
You know, get
All
over
right.
it, guys.
One day, maybe if you ask nicely,
I had a
if you
pickup
ask
truck at one
nicely,
time.
Bri, they'll let you drive just as
Yeah.
a little passenger. Just say, "Can I step up into your vehicle?
Yeah.
If I'm really good and I don't talk, can I come on? Can I come on an expedition with you, please, chaps?"
Yes.
Right. Okay. Move on. Go on. Tell me about your excessive noise thing.
There we go. Excessive noise. So let's get back to from the diesels that they have nowadays with loud exhaust. So if you've got a excessive noise from a car, there it is, a $200 fine. It's not enough.
Why?
Because it's like, do you know what? Who's gonna enforce it?
I can't understand.
Who's running around with a sound decibel meter
Yeah.
going, oh mate, fragging out, we got you there.
I can't understand how they'll only charge you $150 for not stopping at a pedestrian crossing, which is like you're risking killing
But a
someone.
noisy vehicle gets
But
more.
a noisy vehicle gets
Come on.
$200.
What are you-
200.
NZ Transport, what
Yeah.
are you doing? Who's gonna do it? There's not enough police here.
Yeah. I must admit, there's nothing nicer though, is there, when you're sitting here at night and you're just having a nice glass of wine on your deck and you just hear, and you always say
Yeah.
to me, "Well, that sounds nice." You don't go
do you know
out
what?
and say, "Oh, it's $200
there's a sound
fine."
of a nice car, a nice V8 or an Audi that's got a nice, I don't know, exhaust
Rich,
system on
rich.
it. Just sounds good.
Yeah.
And that sounds great. Yeah,
Rich sound.
Like Jens, who's got a KTM motorbike. You know, when he comes up the road on it, and he just changes gear. Not that he is anymore because he came off it. It just sounds fantastic. But anyway.
So, yeah, too noisy. And don't they take the mufflers off? Is that is that a thing here?
They go through, have a straight through exhaust. Because here in New Zealand, you can take your catalytic converter off. You can do whatever you want for emissions. Yes, if it's got excessive smoke for more than 10 seconds, they can fine you for that as well. But you can have the noisiest vehicles in the world because no one's gonna fine you.
Well, they might do, because if you were like, if someone was driving up and down here really noisy, and you phoned the police or or is it transport agency and said it's noisy and here's their number plate, they would come out and fine them. So yes.
But who's going to do that? It's just like, oh, I'll run outside and try and get the rego number.
Good luck with that.
Really? It hasn't got one. It's just got a big bull bar on the front.
Right, my turn.
You.
This can, again, incur a fine up to 150 New Zealand dollars. I got this information from the Auckland Transport Agency, using bus lanes illegally. And it's funny we should say this, because our son just got a fine for $150.
Yeah,
didn't he?
that was for using just at the end of the bus lane, because he was turning left and his sat-nav said turn left, because he's not used to driving there, obviously. And he obviously went like 50 metres into the bus lane. And they did him. Yeah. $250 fine, was it?
Well, he got a $250 fine, didn't he? It says here $150, but maybe that's the minimum. So, yeah, just be really, really careful when you're driving around Auckland, because a lot of the times you can't see those signs. And especially if you're a tourist, you just got off the plane, you've picked up your car, just be really, really careful about
there's lots of cameras in them and things like that. And yeah, I understand to keep buses moving, you want to do that.
Love you, bus drivers. We know you get frustrated with us.
I won't talk about the bike lanes in New Plymouth anyway.
Why? No, you won't, because it's not on our list.
There's no bikes on them.
Pardon?
There's no bikes, and they've spent millions making bike lanes on roads that maybe 2 bikes go down a day.
Going down the coastal walkway, down the down
That's
the
all
front.
I've got to say about that.
Okay, have you got another one?
Yes. Ignoring road closed signs. You will see that.
How much do you get fined, first of all?
Well, you get fined for this one, you get $200.
Right.
So it's entering or driving in closed road areas can lead to a $200 fine. And you'll find, you'll be driving along and you'll just see a big sign that'll say road closed ahead. And you're like, shit. And what it means is the road to the left or the right is closed. It's just like, why don't you put that a bit closer? Because the road I'm actually on, I'm thinking now, which is a main state highway, is closed. Bit silly by whoever does that, Traffic Safe or whoever you are.
You've totally confused me, so I'm just going to ignore what you've just said.
It means that the road to the left is closed, not the road you are actually on.
Right. Well, doesn't it have a left sign that says...
No, it doesn't say anything.
I bet it does, and you're just not looking properly.
I'm quite observant when I'm driving, honest.
Oh, really?
Apart from when I reverse.
All right, then. So not going on road closure signs.
Yes. Yeah. Just be aware of them. You'll see a road close sign. It might be the road you're on, but normally it's to the left or the right, the side road, as they call it here. Yeah.
Okay, my one. According to the New Zealand Transport Agency, you will be fined up to $150 if you fail to signal while turning. Makes sense, really, doesn't it?
Well, it
just
does.
Signal.
Yeah.
Just put your indicator on.
Yeah.
Do you know, there's nothing winds Brian up more than when we're behind someone and they turn and Brian says something. He never says that. He says, I've never really heard him say this much, apart from like about 25 times a day whenever we're driving together. Oh, nice signalling, mate. Oh, yeah, because I'm psychic. I know where you go, mate.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't say that. I don't say psychic, mate.
You say, oh, yeah, thanks for the signal, mate.
Yeah, because...
Who are you talking to?
Because what they do is they're driving along, the guy lives in the road, but he slams his brakes on, and then he puts his indicator on.
John's going to think there's something going on.
Do it the other way around. Indicate, and then slam your brakes on.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you know what I like, Bri? Do you know what I wish they would bring back?
Hanging.
What? Have you taken your testosterone today, Bri? You need to go into your suits. Calm yourself down a bit, boy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I wish they'd bring back? I wish they'd bring back where you had to put your arm out of the window to do signalling.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the old cars that didn't used to have, yeah. I can actually remember cars without signals.
My granddad used to do it, and he would put his arm out.
The movements and everything. Like, when you're slowing down, you have to wave your arm up and down.
But the other thing is, right, if you're driving and you want to turn right and you put your arm out right, what did you do when you wanted to turn left?
You have to go like that. You have to circle.
Why did they not keep that in?
Yeah, so you're circling. You're not waving to slow down.
Yeah.
Like that. So
Yeah.
it's like circling to turn right.
The last one that we want to talk about, and it isn't on the
Turn
list.
left. Sorry. I wonder which car you're in.
The last one we wanted to talk about, and it isn't on the list, is mobile phones while driving. You're not allowed to be on your mobile phone while driving in New Zealand.
Unless it's in a cradle and your hands free.
And your hands free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't be texting and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Do you remember
illegal.
when they brought that law out in the UK?
Yes.
It was about 2008, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they stopped. And then when we moved to New Zealand in 2009, I don't know if they brought it in, but we were so used to not being able to be on our phone.
At the time, it was just coming in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could still use your phone. I was quite shocked when we first came in 2009 that I could still use the phone, and people would use the phone in the car. And then just after that came in, they changed the right turn how to turn right and left in New Zealand.
Yeah.
All changed.
Yeah. Here's another one as well before we go. Have we got
What?
time to say this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just quickly tell you. Do you remember when we were in Truro in Cornwall in England and that policeman came up to you because you were eating your pasty?
Yeah.
And he said, "You're not allowed to eat."
I was sitting on double yellow lines. I didn't have any road tax at the time in the car that I was in. It was a company car, but it just didn't. And I was just like, I just can't be bothered because he was a sergeant guy with all the stripes, and he was just like strolling around doing his job.
And
you just got a pasty, and I was about to pull away off the double yellows because you'd got back in the car, and he went, and he puts his hand out, "Stop, mate! You're not allowed to drive with that." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "With the pasty in your hand,
Yeah.
you need two hands to drive that vehicle."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And quite rightly so as well. But I don't know if that applies in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So if
automatic, mate, it's fine.
If
One's
you
fine.
well, this is. Do you know?
Power steering.
Two things. One, if you're in New Zealand now and you've been here all your life, can you just tell us, are we allowed to eat a pie when we're driving? I don't know if we are or not, but I always see people eating when they're driving.
Yeah, and it's smoking as well. What's the difference?
Yeah,
but
and
you're allowed to
smoking.
smoke when you're driving. Why?
Maybe you're not. Maybe
Really?
you're not. Are
Yeah.
you? I don't know.
Well, not being funny.
Luckily, we
After
don't
New
smoke, so
Zealand,
we don't know.
they stop at the traffic lights and open the windows, and all the vape goes out.
Yeah. So are you allowed to vape? Because what's the difference if you're vaping in your car? What's the difference between that and Bri eating his pasty? I just want to know. So can you let us know?
I had to put the whole pasty in my mouth in one go. I've never done it before, but it's a whole pasty went in my mouth. I just big chubby cheeks and drove off.
Right, so we hope you enjoyed that episode about driving fines in New Zealand. If you are visiting New Zealand, it is a wonderful, wonderful country, very easy to drive around. You need a car really to get around if you're going to go north to
Or a
south.
camper or whatever it is you're going to be in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we hope that this episode has brought you not only some joy and some laughter, but some information about how to avoid being one of those tourists that are evading paying 156 million in fines over the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So please drive safely. Drive safely. Put your seatbelt on as well, is what I should have said as well.
Yeah.
That's another fine you will incur. Seatbelts are mandatory in New Zealand. Put your seatbelt on. Don't eat a pasty.
Yeah.
Make sure you're doing all these things that we've told you to do and enjoy your stay in New Zealand.
Yeah, and on a final point, speeding is strictly observed by the police, and they will do you. And sometimes especially around.
Did we say speeding? Was that on here?
Especially,
How did we miss that?
Because it's quite obvious, I think.
Yeah.
But it's
Speeding
just be really careful of that, because every police car tends to have radar, and at times when it's public holidays around Christmas and Easter and all those sort of things, zero tolerance.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
and that's a little bit hard
And
to
drink driving as well.
yeah, but obviously, yeah, but a bit hard to swallow. Zero tolerance. That's like 1K over. It's like, really? Come on.
It's for the safety of the people.
I know, because lots more accidents happen because people are off on their holidays and they're like stressed out and off they go.
Yeah.
So I understand why they do it. It is all of this stuff we're talking about is for safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To keep our country safe and to keep our visitors and our
Keep it
Kiwis
moving.
safe and keep it moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. Do not forget to leave a like, a comment, a subscribe, share this episode with people who are coming to New Zealand who love New Zealand as much as you do. Don't forget that 5-day video guide where you can get our free 5-day videos of life in New Zealand. All that will be in the description below. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us, Kiwis. Keep safe on the road, and I will speak to you soon.
Yep. So kia kaha, stay strong. Kia u, stay true. Keep your eyes open on the road.
Okay.
See you now.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, is there anything worse than moving to a new country and you get here and you're invited to a party, and then when you leave, all the other people are saying, "Ooh, you think she would have known about that, don't you? You think she would have known about that rule?"
We paid the bill. I think it was something like about $280, maybe even more.
Something stupid.
And we paid the bill, and I'm not joking, the minute the girl handed our credit card back to us, the boss stood up and went, "Right, guys."
In this week's episode, we're going to share with you 10 unspoken rules about New Zealand so you don't look like a wally at the party.